I have an interest in aesthetics, and I thus feel the need or the inclination to want to talk about the thing that many people are talking about today, or over the last couple of days, and that is the Joe Biden speech and the interesting aesthetics that were on display for his speech that he gave the other night. Um, just for those of you who don't know, the the speech that he delivered, which I didn't watch. I'll be frank. I don't like to watch political speeches. I don't like getting uh, getting involved in that way with what politicians are saying. Uh, you know what they're reading off their cue cards or whatever in these prepared moments. It doesn't interest me terribly, uh, but I do think that it's worth talking about the aesthetics. And for those of you who don't know, what happened was you had Biden take the stand. I guess um, it wasn't in the Oval Office itself. Maybe it was outside of the building. I'm not sure. But the important thing is everything is bathed in a bright red light, an angry, bright red light. And just also right in the distance, you see two Marines or two, I guess they're Marines, uh, two men with military uniforms standing sentinel. Um, and this is the backdrop for the speech which Biden delivers, which is all about basically how half of the country are evil, half of the country are traitors who want to overthrow democracy and support the miscreants who perpetrated January 6th, and just a very very angry, vitriolic speech. He's even like, people have made jokes like, oh, they got his meds right, because he's coherent, and not only is he coherent, but he's actually like raising his arms and pounding. I don't know if he probably doesn't actually pound the podium, but it's not hyperbolic to say that he looks somewhat Hitlerian uh, in uh, in a couple of these pictures that have been taken. Um, Hitler gesticulated a lot, and he spoke passionately and angrily often, and he was supposedly a hypnotic speaker, which Biden, of course, is not. But nevertheless, there was something about this event that really caught people's attention, and people want to know why. There were a lot of conservatives, Republicans, but also just independents who were saying, why do they do it this way? Why do they stage it this way? I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to articulate what I believe are a couple of possibilities, because something interesting that took place also over the course of the speech was that supposedly CNN, very Democrat biased, Biden friendly network, as everyone knows, they consciously try to tone it down They try to mute the angry red lighting of the scene, so it ended up being like a hot pink. So the president was bathed in a hot pink light, which I don't know. I don't know if that's aesthetically doing him any favors. It's certainly less powerful. It's certainly less, um, you know, attention. Well, it's attention grabbing, but it's not attention grabbing in a way that makes you say, "Ooh, ooh, Dark Brandon." That's sort of the hashtag you've been hearing a little bit. Um, but CNN did that, and that is notable that they did that. So there's two things that are notable about these aesthetics. First of all, the fact that they set it up this way in the first place. Was it just accidental? Was it just uh, you know um, do they just not really think about aesthetics? I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that at all. I think it was definitely uh, intentional. Um, was it meant to stir up the base? Probably, uh, because the speech was angry. And the next day, Biden backtracked a little and he said, "No, I'm not saying that all Trump supporters are bad." Um, so he's kind of trying to have it both ways, like is often the case with politicians, of course. But uh, but I think that they conceived of it as this is going to be angry, this is going to be divisive, this is going to be we want something highlighting highlighting what will be said in this speech that will turn the volume up in the room. Uh, they say that there's talk of de-escalation. You want to try to de-escalate if things are getting if say you have a country like say the United States in 2022 where it often seems like we're on the verge of civil war. Then a good idea, if you're a responsible leader, is to try to de-escalate the rhetoric, or de-escalate. It's not that you can't say what you think. It's not that you can't make your point, and it's not that you can't uh, have a message that not everyone's going to agree with, and it's not that you can't challenge other people who believe differently than you. None of that is really the point, and none of that's the issue. As long as the United States has been around, there have been differences, and people have challenged one another. And of course, the Civil War, the first Civil War, dare we say, that caused that was the result of a huge rift that was very much there in the country. It was not all about slavery, not by any stretch. Uh, it was a cultural divide, and what we see today is a cultural divide as well. But the whole notion of being one nation indivisible just seems to be something that nobody believes in anymore. It's something that we pay a kind of homage to, but those are just stale words and they mean nothing, and we know better. We are not one nation indivisible at all. We are not one nation. We are not indivisible. But in a situation like that, a responsible leader will try to de-escalate, right? We'll try to, I don't know, Just, try to make it so that the two sides who can't see eye to eye on much of anything can still, you can go your way, we can go our way, and what have you. But it seems that there are forces out there who don't want that. It seems that there are forces pretty high up in the body politic, pretty high up in the echelons of power, I should say, who want to aggravate this, who want to tear at this scab, and we have to ask ourselves that question: why do they want to bring on a civil war? A second civil war would be a dreadful thing to have happen. I do think that we're going to be faced with some kind of situation in the perhaps fairly near future where we're going to either have to decide to peacefully secede from one another, or it's going to come to blows. And I don't think any reasonable person wants things to come to blows. I don't think any person with a conscience wants things to come to blows. You do, if it comes to that, then yeah, you'll have to stand up for your side. You'll have to stand up for what you believe in. But the immense destructiveness that would bring about, a second civil war would make the first one just pale in comparison, as far as scope, as far as bloodshed, as far as what have you. And so responsible people on both sides of the cultural divide should want to put out de-escalating vibes. But that's not what we got when Biden gave his speech the other night. There was nothing de-escalating about that speech or the aesthetics that were on display in that speech. So the conclusion that I would come to is that there are people out there who want, in the high echelons of power, who want civil war. They want conflict. They want divisiveness. But on the other hand, what is interesting is that there seems to be they're getting their wires crossed a little bit, because CNN, like as I was saying, they muted those colors. They said, "Ooh, this is too garish. This is too angry looking. This is red, the blood of angry men. And we don't really want that look. So let's try to mute it." So there are some forces who out there on the top echelons saying, "Well, we'll help our president out and his side out, because obviously he's their guy. We'll help him out by muting this blood red color, but whoever it was who put that blood red color there in the first place, that made Joe Biden look like a frothing demon. They put it there for a reason. They put it there. It was not unintentional. I will never buy into that. Never. These people want things to get worse. And so, in a way, you could call them accelerationists on the left, right? We hear often about accelerationists on the dissident right, who just think, well, let's just make things even worse. Let's do things to make things even worse, because the worse the better. The worse things get, the closer we get to uh, a revolution where we'll be able to fight and get our way. I mean, that's the mentality. I am not in that camp. I'm 180 degrees apart from that camp, even though I tend to think things are pretty hopeless right now as far as the notion of keeping this country together. I don't think this country can be kept together. I don't think this country is together even now. It's only symbolically, legalistically together. Otherwise, it's if left to its own devices, it would peacefully, hopefully, split into different um, different sections where different types of things are valued, right? Red state America and blue state America, as they have been called. Well, they went red. Biden and the Democrats are not representatives of red state America, but they went red with that speech. Uh, and that shows us that not Biden, because I don't think he knows really what he's doing, but his handlers and the people who are behind him. They are pushing us towards greater conflict. They're pushing us towards bloodshed. And even if CNN wanted to help out Biden by making it seem a little bit less confrontational and a little less in your face and a little less, just hellish uh, in its aesthetic. Nevertheless, that was what they were going for. So that's my observation about Biden's speech. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any thoughts below.